Hello again everyone. In the previous lecture, we have already discussed about the basic concept of what is a database. We have already discussed the importance of database, and we have also discussed about those very important terminologies that you will need to understand in order for you to be able to write down simple code with regards to that of your database management system. Right. Now, in order for you to perform all those operation, in order for you to implement those concepts that you have learned in all the previous lectures, what you have to do is you'll have to first understand what is this exactly. What is a structured query language? Fine. In order for you to perform all operation in a database management system, you need this language. Fine. It can be any type of structured query language, but you need in general a structured query language. So structured query language can be defined as a standard language that can be used to access any of the database. So in order to access the data from the database, in order to carry out different type of operation in the database, in order to add data, in order to remove data, in order to update data, for example, to create a table, right, to extend a table, to add more information into a table, you need a particular language. So that is what your structured query language is all about. Now, structured query language request is used to request for information from the database, right? And this will be made here. All the requests, that means every request that you made from the database will be made in the form of this query. Query is like when you ask question, right? Sort of. When you ask for things like how things work, and when you query, okay, that is why you call it a query. I mean, when you want to ask what exactly are the things that you need, it's like a question. And when you say query, it is simple. It'll be like sort of a question. How is it done? How to do this? How to do that? So, okay, all the requests that you will make from a database will be made in the form of this query. That is why what you need is you need a structured query language in order for you to extract all the information, to access all the information from the database. So each and every request for information from a database, I mean every time you request for any information from a database, has to be made in the form of a query. Few of the query commands that you will be learning in the structured query language are create for creating a new table, alter is used for altering an already existing table. So you already have a table, you want to make some changes to it, maybe add more rows or remove few of the already existing rows. Insert is when you want to insert data. By creating a table means it's just an empty table, so you need to insert all the data into it. Update is for modifying the data, and then you can also delete already existing data that is stored in a database. Right? One of the example that I've given here is this one. For example, this is a command. Consider the table that we have used previously. This is the table from the student's detail. Here I have the student number, student name, student email, and the department. And I have given only two tuple. Tuple, if you remember, is one row. Fine. So this is one row. This is a second row. Okay. The first row talks about the details of the student, Annie, and the second row here, or the second tuple, talks about the details of the student, Grace. So I have added this one simple command which says select all where name equal to Annie. Fine. Query language is very simple. You don't need to do so many coding in order to be able to write out this language, and you don't have to have a very a very big concept or a very thorough details concept or knowledge of a programming language in order to be able to use a structured query language. Fine. This is a very simple language. So example is select all where name equal to Annie, which is very simple. You don't have to understand what's going on, how all this data is to be extracted, right? You just ask your database, you just ask the software that this is what you need. You need to select all where name equal to Annie. This means that I want to select each and every details where the student name is equal to Annie. So as a result or as an output, this is what you get. If I have, no matter how many rows I have here, all rows will be ignored, and only the row okay, which maintains the details of Annie. Only that will be displayed. The reason is because we have already asked, or we have already given sort of a command. Fine, query will be a command asking the database here that I want all the details of this particular name, which is Annie. Right? So this is what I have included in the answer. Only the details of the student with the name Annie will be displayed here. Right? This is an example. Now, this the different type of operation that you normally perform or you normally carry out in a structured query language. I mean the command that you use. Okay, you have different sets of command for making a query. Okay, you ask for instruction, you ask for information from a database, and then okay, using your structured query operation or structured query language, you can also insert data into a table. You can update already existing data. You can delete rows and column in a table, right? You can create a new table. You can replace an already existing table. You can make changes to it, and you can even drop or delete already existing data. It's not only about rows and column. You can even drop only a particular data. And then using this particular operation, you can also control access to the database. Controlling access means you will be the one or there will be a person using this particular operation. I mean using the help of a structured query language, you can decide who can access your database, right? Or who can perform operation, who can add things into your database, who can remove things into your database. Example, if you are the administrator, if you are the database administrator, that means the one who have full access over the database. Right now you can use a particular query where you can control as to who can actually use the database. Fine, who can use the database, who can edit data into the database. So that is the meaning of controlling access to the database. And here this will also guarantee database consistency and okay, the integrity part is not visible here, but I have added integrity here. Okay, this guarantee the database consistency and integrity. Now using this command, fine, you can make sure that whatever data you are extracting in the database will be consistent. That means no matter how many times you extract the data, you'll always get the same data. It'll always be the correct data. And at the same time, using this command, you can maintain the integrity of the database. And integrity is sort of like when we talk about someone who is honest, who is true, right? That means the data that you extract from that will always be true, right? Because what happened, if you can recall, we will always store real data in this. So whatever data we can, when we use a query, when we perform an operation in a database, will always be a true data, right? Now the advantage of using a structured query language. There are different types of structured query language, right? But in general, the advantage of using all those structured query language are, okay, first thing is that your structured query language is a high level language. I'm sure you must have discussed in your class 11 about what exactly is a high level language. We have three level of computer language, right? Low level, high level, and the middle, or the machine level language, the low level language, and the high level language. High level language is a language that is written using a simple English language, and all your programming language are high level language. And then another advantage is that using your structured query language is very easy to learn and understand, because what happens is this does not require too much of coding. Okay, it is very easy. Fine, you just need to remember those commands. There are only very few limited commands. Okay, once you know how to use those, once you are familiar with it, it is very easy to understand how to use this. And then your structured query language is very flexible. That means it can be used in the best way that is suited to the user. You don't have to concentrate on what exactly is there in the working of a database. What you need is it's very simple. You just concentrate on what you need. You ask the data that I want this data, that's it. You don't have to worry about what is going on in the background. I mean, what is the technicalities that is involved. Fine. Another one is that your structured query language is portable in nature. Portability is the ability of a programming language to be machine independent. That means the same language can be used in any type of machine. You can use it in a laptop, you can use it in desktop, You can use it in a smartphone. You can use it, say, in a computer designed by HP. You can use it in a computer that is designed by Dell. Fine. So your SQL here is portable in nature. It is machine independent. Irrespective of which machine you use, it will always carry out exactly the same function. It is very high speed, I've mentioned. That means what happens is when you want to take the data, when you want to ask for information from your database, the database will respond to you in a very fast rate. Right? So there you can extract the data at a very quick speed, or the record are extracted very quickly. And here it specifies on what is required and how it can be done. This is what I've already mentioned is flexibility. Fine, you don't have to concentrate on the actual working of your database, but just concentrate on what do you need exactly from your database. Fine, you'll understand this better once you start with the actual command. And but before we go to the command, you need to learn about the different categories that are available in a structured query language. There are these 6 categories that I have included here in list, but in your syllabus, okay, these are categorized based on the purpose of all those structured query language. Okay, structured query language are designed for different purpose. Now, based on what purpose you use, the structured query language has been categorized into this 6 categories. We will not be looking at all the 6 categories in your syllabus. We will be covering only the first 2 categories. Find the data definition language and the data manipulation language. In the data definition language, this is initially fine at the very first stage when you want to create a new database. When you want to create a new database, what you have to do is first you have to create a table. Fine. First, you have to create a table. Fine. This is about maintaining the structure of a table. How you want your table to look like. How many rows, how many columns. And then once it has been created, you might want to later on change the structure of a table. You might want to change the number of rows, increase the number of columns, and so on. And you can even delete an already existing table. So this is about the structure of a table. We are not talking about the data. We are not talking about what is stored inside those table. Find the row and the column. They're just talking about how to create the structure, how to maintain the rows and column. So that is what your data definition language, which is also referred to as a data description language, is all about. This is a standard for command that defines the different structure in the database. We are just talking about the structure, that means the framework. Fine, it's like a skeleton of your database. The data definition statement here are used to create the structure of a database. You can even modify the existing structure. That means you can remove few of the rows, you can add extra row, you can add extra column, and you can even remove an already, that means delete an already existing table. Some of the statement, that means the command that you will be using in the data definition language will be create a table for creating a new table, alter a table, that means when you want to make changes to a table, and you can even drop a table, that means delete a table. The next one is your data manipulation language, or the DML, what we call it in short. In DML, fine, once you have already maintained the structure of a table, you already have the framework, you already have the skeleton, you already have all those small boxes created. Then what you can do now is you can start filling data into it, right? You can add things into those boxes. So that is what your data manipulation language is all about. Fine. These are used here to access and manipulate the data in the existing table. You can perform operation, you can add new data, you can remove data from the table using the data manipulation language. The manipulation here includes inserting new data into the table. You can even delete data. That means you're talking about the content of the table, deleting data from the table. You can extract it, like in the example where I have given select all. That is the meaning of extracting or retrieving data. And you can even modify the already existing data. The command that are used, the common DML statement or the command that are common here are select. Find where you select all, update, delete, and the insert command. Right, so from the next class we'll start discussing about this. Fine. As of now, we'll stop here for today. Thank you very much.